Hey everyone, welcome to another session of AutoSAR Bits. So, as in every Wednesday, we're going to talk about AutoSAR just a bit for a few minutes. And so, let's get started. My name is Marco, by the way. And so, AutoSAR, as we have explained, is the automotive open system architecture. And at the time, we're focusing on this part, on this section, which is the system architecture. What does that mean? So last week we defined what a system is, what a system architecture is. We also explained what a function and the logical architecture is. Actually, in this session, we're going to still focus on the logical architecture, but first, I want to explain what the functional architecture is. So first of all, functional architecture. So here in this diagram, in this work product, we have here how the functions, the different functions relate to each other and the dependencies among them. So as we can see here, functions like object detection, rear cross traffic alert, blind spot warning, and so on are interrelated and belong to a certain domain, which in this case is safety. There are some dependencies into the chassis domain or to the interior domain. And so that's what the functional architecture is. It's the first step in our design. And if we go from a top-down perspective, this will be the first step. And then the idea here is to decompose this architecture following a method, which in this case is the component-based architectural design. This method focuses on the decomposition of the design into individual functional or logical components. In the previous diagram, in the previous architecture, we had functional components. After we do several decompositions, we will have what is called logical components. So the outcome, as we said, is the logical architecture. Then the logical architecture, we talked about that in the previous session just a bit. The idea here of the objective is to decompose a feature into a set of logical components. But then the question is, what the heck is a component? A logical component groups a set of requirements that share common characteristics. We talked about this a little bit. Common characteristics such as AC level, security, real-time requirements, whether they are related somehow in a functional perspective. Those are the characteristics that we're talking here about. So, for example, here, a function like blind spot warning, we decompose it into these 5 components: lane change, intention notifier, object detection, and so on. And we also here in this decomposition in this architecture, we define the messages that are interchanged between these components. So we have here a view of just one function. If we zoom out this architecture, we will see the complete diagram encompassing all the functions. And so we will see here that object detection is used by other functions like rear cross traffic alert and lane keep assist, just to give an example. So the good thing about this is that, for example, if we had the need to replace this component kinesthetic indicator with another one, which we might call it audible architecture, we can do this very easy because we are dealing with an open system architecture. As we can recall, this is a type of system architecture intended to make adding, upgrading, and swapping components easy. And that's actually what AutoSAR is all about. That's one of its main purposes. So logical architecture, who does this? The answer is the OEMs. Companies like BMW, Daimler, Ford, or GM, which design a car, know what the customer wants or needs. And so they design functions by going through the logical architecture and then doing what is called the physical architecture that we will cover in the next session. So in the next session, we're going to cover what the physical architecture is, the characteristics of such vehicle electrical and electronic architecture, and the history, that is the evolution of such architecture. We're going to mention, of course, how the heck is this related to AUTOSAR. And also in the next session, I want to cover what AUTOSAR is. This is sometimes a source of confusion, whether it is a consortium, an architecture, a platform. We're gonna deep dive into this so we can avoid this confusion in the future. And don't forget to subscribe. You can subscribe to the hashtag here, AUTOSARBits. That, of course, will make me very, very happy. So thank you all for your time. See you next time, and have a good weekend. Bye-bye.